This took place when I was about 10 years old. My mom had rather quickly filed for divorce, but she only had a part-time job and made very little money. So finding a place to stay that was affordable and available immediately was tough. A friend of hers told her that she and her husband had a little mobile home that was currently sitting empty, and we could rent it practically for free until we figured something else out. I immediately didn't like the house. Part of this, I'm sure, was due to my parents' abrupt divorce and having my life turned upside down, but it was also just the house itself. We lived in a mountain town, and this mobile home was way up a steep mile-long driveway. Beautiful pine trees surrounded it, but the house itself looked abandoned and out of place. I had 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. So my brother and I shared a room, and my mom took the bedroom with the attached bathroom. It was a very 70s home, with wood paneling and dated fixtures. There were also areas that showed strange damage, like holes in the wall that were badly patched up. For whatever reason, I immediately refused to use the hallway bathroom. I wouldn't even step into it. My mom never really asked me why or questioned it, but let me use her bathroom. Anyway, my mom was gone a lot trying to find whatever work she could, so I would be home alone a lot after school and on the weekends. Each time, I received a 911 call. I was by myself. My mom always told us not to answer the door, but we should always answer the phone in case it was her. So when the phone rang one afternoon, I figured it would be my mom, since no one else really had our number yet. There was a woman on the phone who sounded very concerned. "Hello, this is 911, returning your call. We received your call, but we got disconnected," the woman said. I immediately got a sick feeling. I told her that I did not call 911, and she asked me if there was anyone else in the house who might have called. I said that I was home alone, but I started to get really worried that maybe I wasn't. She said that she would dispatch police to our address, just to make sure that everything was okay. At that point, I was terrified to be in the house. So I sat outside and nervously waited for the police, who showed up in about 15 to 20 minutes. The officer asked me if I had called 911, and I said no, but they claimed that I had called them. The officer just shrugged and said, "This kind of thing sometimes happens. They say that it can't, that the numbers can't get mixed up, but it happens." He did a cursory glance around the outside of the house and left. I tried to convince myself that the officer was right. It was just a mixed-up phone call, and hopefully whoever did actually got the help they needed. About a month later, the same thing happened. I got another phone call from 911 saying that they had received a phone call from my number. I told them again that it must have been a mistake. The woman on the phone scolded me a bit, telling me that 911 wasn't something to play around with, and I was preventing people from getting help. She didn't dispatch any police this time. Again, I was really worried someone was in the house, so I cautiously checked and made sure all the doors were still locked. I don't know why, but I always kept the hallway bathroom door closed. Maybe because of the eerie feeling I got from it. As I was checking the house, I just knew someone was in the bathroom. I was terrified. Part of me felt like I needed to open the door just to check. Maybe just to prove myself wrong. But I was too afraid. Soon, I just sat in the living room, watching that door. It was so quiet in the house that after a few minutes I swore I started to hear faint little sounds coming from inside. Like a kind of shuffling noise. I asked my mom to check the bathroom when she got home. She quickly looked inside. She made me come and look to see that it was completely empty, that I was letting my imagination get the better of me. The 911 calls happened 3 more times over the coming months, and only when I was home alone. The 4th time, the dispatcher told me I could face criminal charges for what I was doing, and that they would contact my parents. I hung up the phone sobbing and terrified. I had the feeling that someone was in the house again, but if I called 911, they probably wouldn't even show up. I felt like a girl who cried wolf, only it wasn't me. It was like someone was playing a horrible, twisted joke on me. I sat and I watched the bathroom door again, hearing noises like someone dragging their fingers across the door. I decided my mom was right, and I should probably not let my imagination get away. I decided to try and leave the bathroom door open so I wouldn't get so freaked out by the thought that someone was in there. And then I got the 5th 911 call. This time, though, after I hung up the phone with the dispatcher, the bathroom door slammed shut. I ran all the way down our steep driveway and found a place to wait until my mom pulled into the drive. When she arrived, she was angry with me for leaving the house, but she saw just how upset I was. I think maybe she thought I was acting out due to the stress of the divorce. I refused to be alone in the house again, though. We worked it out so I would stay later at school or go to a nearby friend's house until she got off of work. Not long after this, we got a notice from my mom's friend that we needed to move out of the house because her mom needed a place to stay. I was so grateful to be moving out. I told my mom she needed to tell her friend that something was wrong with the house. But my mom thought that it was a ridiculous way to pay back someone's generosity. I moved around a lot the next few years and tried to forget about that house. It wasn't until I was older that I really thought about it. I witnessed an accident and had to call 911, and the fear and the paranoia all came flooding back. I decided to do some research, which, honestly, I wish I had never done. A few years before we moved in, a woman was killed in that house, in some kind of domestic dispute. It was days, though, before she was found, shut up in the bathroom.